So tell us a little bit about your mom and what you miss most about her.
I just miss everything about her. Even her getting on my nerves, she would call me, and when I didn't answer the phone and my voicemail would pick up, she would talk in the voicemail like it was an answering machine. Like I could
Hmm.
hear her leaving the message. She'll be like, Toya, Toya, pick up the phone, Toya. And I'm like, girl, it's a voicemail. It's not an answering machine. I can't hear that.
Right.
I wish that I had saved some of those messages so that I could still hear her voice.
Mhm.
Um, but I just miss everything about her. Yeah.
What are some of the traditions that you've held on to that you shared with your mom?
Holidays were big with us, and just family gatherings in general. Yeah.
Are there any things or any traditions that you stopped doing or anything that you did and you find yourself not wanting to do it anymore since
Uh,
your mom isn't no longer here?
We would go get our nails done together all the time. So I did have to stop going to that salon
Oh yeah.
because the nail tech would just always say, "Oh, I remember your mom. She was so nice. She was so this." And it's just like, okay, all
Right.
right, okay, that's enough.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yes.
So, I mean, I love the fact that she did leave such a great impression on
Hmm.
everybody that she did interact with. Because she was one of those people that no matter where we went, she knew somebody. Yeah.
Are you comfortable with sharing any of the details surrounding the loss of your mom?
My mom had been sick off and on for a very long time.
Mhm.
She was a diabetic, and at first she wasn't taking care of herself the way that she was supposed to. So everybody was always on her about, making sure that she was eating right and, making sure that she was checking her sugar and taking her insulin and everything like that. She also suffered from COPD. So that October, before she went into the hospital, she was fighting going into the hospital. And so I later found out from her best friend, she had confided in her and told her that the reason why she did not want to go into the hospital is because she felt like she would not be coming back out. She went by ambulance to the hospital. I went, met the ambulance there. They immediately took her back, checked her in, and of course I couldn't go in
But with
for
her.
real because of the whole COVID protocols. And so fast forward to Mason's birthday, which is December 9th. Um, we went to the hospital that Sunday no, the Sunday before his birthday. And because they had lifted the visitation. Because the last
Mhm.
time that I saw her in the hospital was around Thanksgiving. She didn't want Mason to come to the hospital to see her, COVID and all that kind of stuff. So that
Right.
Sunday, we went to the hospital. Um, And apparently, while we were on the elevator going upstairs to her room, they called a complete lockdown of the hospital and said that patients in ICU, which is where she pretty much had been the whole time she was in the
Hmm.
hospital, weren't allowed to have any visitors. The next morning of the day that we were supposed to have the video call, the doctor called me and was like, your mother is starting a slow decline. Her systems are starting to shut down. He was like, unfortunately, we're going to have to put her on a ventilator because, everything is just rapidly declining. And luckily at the time, um, Mason was doing online school and he was able to come with me. So we were together um,
Hmm.
during all of this every day. And so I took him home and then went to the hospital. When I got to the hospital, I grabbed her cell phone and I just started calling everybody that I could think of in her phone so that they could
Hmm.
say their goodbye before they unhooked her from the machine. Mason was the last phone call that I made. I just sat holding her hand, rubbing her arm, until the doctor let me know, that. she had made her transition. So, um, and then I sat in the room for probably a good 45 minutes
Hmm.
just with her.
I can only imagine how scary that was having a respiratory illness during the pandemic,
Yeah.
the fear. So,
Yeah.
wow.
And just by the grace of God, she never contracted COVID. Thank God. Because it was, running rampant in
Hmm.
hospitals and nursing homes.
Right.
Um,
How has losing your mom changed you or your perspective on life?
I value my time more. That's the one thing that I can't replace or get back once
Right.
it's been lost. I hug a little bit longer, a little bit tighter. I tell people exactly how I feel, good, bad, or otherwise.
Mhm. What would you say, or what advice would you give to someone who's grieving the loss of their mom right now?
Grieve. You only get one mother. Whether you love her, hate her, get along with her, or not, you only get one. And when she's gone, that's it.
Right.
You don't get a do-over. You don't get the opportunity to hug her one more time, hear her voice one more time, or anything. So, for anybody that is suffering that loss, take the time that you need.
So, what has life been like for you after the goodbye?
I can be doing just fine, and I'll hear a song. It'll break me all the way down. When I drive by where she used to live, sometimes it makes me a little bit emotional, but I always say, "Hey, mommy," every time I drive by. I try to keep her memory alive by always talking about her. Um, I post about her sometimes a lot on my social media pages. And, I call her, she's one of my forever angels.